We're here now with Dr. John Michael Riley. So John Michael, give us an update on the crop markets. What's going on right now?
Well, I always hate to be the bearer of bad news. It seems like I've always kind of come in with that since I started visiting with you all, but that's kind of been the case over the past couple of weeks since we last visited. Markets, for the most part, in terms of wheat, corn, soybeans, cotton as well, all of those are down just a little bit. Nothing really major, but down just a little bit, largely due to some exuberation, I guess you might say, as a result of some recent weather, just getting some moisture in the soil, not just here in Oklahoma, but across, most of our major growing areas. And I think that's just provided a little bit of damper news to prices, because that should mean that the crop conditions for current wheat, and then also thinking forward to spring and summer crops for next year, might be a little bit better and more productive than anticipated prior to these rains.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what's going on with the planting with wheat and maybe some harvest of the summer crops.
Sure, absolutely. So looking at wheat plantings, we're 95% completed here in Oklahoma. Made some really good improvements there over the past couple of weeks, 97% across the U.S. Emergence, 89% in the U.S., 80% of Oklahoma wheat has emerged. Again, that's really significant improvements from what we were thinking it was going to be and where we've been just a couple of weeks ago. In terms of the condition of the crop, it too is mostly, on par where we were at last time we talked. We're about 16% poor, very poor here in Oklahoma, 48% of good and excellent. So that's a vast improvement, but that's really where we've been for the past couple of weeks. So that's put a little bit of pressure on prices. Futures market, looking at about $5.50 right now. That's down about 25 cents from the last time we talked. And so again, the improvements in the conditions is really what's driving that. Cotton, 65% harvested here in Oklahoma. That's compared to normally we're about 77%. So behind pace a little bit. Some of the recent rains are probably playing a role there, but we're kind of making up some ground as we can. Those prices are down about 4 cents. We've been seeing the U.S. dollar has been strengthening, which usually makes our exports a little bit more expensive. That usually a lot of our cotton is exported, so that puts a little bit of a pressure on cotton prices when that dollar strengthens. And then looking at beans and corn, bean prices have fallen below $10 on the futures market, so down about 30 cents since we last visited. And then corn prices down about 5 to 8 cents since we last talked.
So obviously we're feeling a little bit of a chill in the air right now. Do you have any advice for producers going into the winter months?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is a great time, as we've kind of got the summer crops in the bins, if you will, and the wheat crop is emerging and kind of starting to look really nice. I think that's a good time to sharpen the pencils and really focus on the things that our producers can control, and those usually are cost and getting those budgets as up to date and as correct as possible. Trimming costs where costs can be trimmed, since we are in a low market kind of cycle right now. Trimming costs as much as you can without necessarily doing long-term harm. And then also continuing to kind of think about, as we start putting our tax forms together, what can we do to make sure that we're on the right pace there, consulting with our tax accountants and whatnot. And also, do what we can with marketings right now in terms of pricing. Probably not the most ideal time to be pricing, but it's still something that probably needs to be taken into consideration. What type of risk management is best for each individual operation. It's hard to really get too specific into that because everybody is so different. But I think this is a good time to have those conversations with, your family members, your consultants, your bankers, to make sure that all of those ducks are in a row.
Yeah, of course. And so around this time of year, we normally go into kind of a winter lull. Is that happening this year as well?
Absolutely. We're in that holiday period, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, where markets are really ones where the slightest bit of news could possibly, make things explode one way or the other, or the slightest bit of news could just go unnoticed. So it's one of those times where traders are kind of in and out, and as a result, markets are a bit wild and crazy at times because of just that holiday happenstance.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, John Michael. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Absolutely.